client control. If you've got any, can you just type in? Now, here's what I had for, I did this with my mastermind group, and I said, right, client control. Tell me about lack of control. Give me some stories about lack of control with clients and how it can cost you. So let's start with that. While you're thinking, and if you can type anything in, I'll give you a couple of stories. And what I'm looking for is client goes rogue writing their own rules. Has this ever happened to you? Right? It seems to me projects go well when you're in control. Projects go badly when the client takes control, starts putting their hands on the steering wheel. Peter Tui told me a story, you know, and he said this is not uncommon, but a couple, one is not as engaged as the other. So the wife is fully engaged, attending all the meetings, getting fully engaged, bringing along samples and examples and scrapbooks. The husband, not engaged, but keeps coming in at the last minute to veto everything, having not participated in the process. Annoying, right? Obviously, as you're going through the process, changes to the plan, out of scope work that people don't want to pay for, requires client control. Behavior that makes the project unprofitable, I suppose out of scope work fits in that bill. Oh, actually, before I get into that, Roderick told an interesting story. I won't say it's a good story, but it's an interesting story. And I'm not sure Roderick had any control over this one, but he was dealing with a client, multi-million-dollar project, dream house in Costa Rica. And the day of pouring the concrete, the wife is in tears at the site. Husband, wife there, wife's in tears. He's thinking, this is very strange. It's normally a bit of a celebration, pouring the concrete. It's kind of symbolic of the start of the... No, she's not happy at all. 3 months later, and she'd been involved in the project all the way up, involved in the project. The husband had been involved, but probably not quite as involved as she had been. And there might have been a reason for that, because 3 months later, the person helping Roderick out with the interiors was the mistress, who was now going to move into the house and not the wife. So, like I say, I'm not sure I can help with client control on this one, but certainly an unfortunate circumstance. Has anyone else got any good client control stories before we rip into it? Francis Klein, too many alternative designs for a fixed fee. Right, can't make money. I will try one design, one revision. Any extras are billed hourly. Really good idea, seems to me. Yep, we'll do one design, one revision. Everything extra is out of scope. Nailing down that what's in scope, what's out of scope. Brad says clients put us off and doesn't include us during CA, even when we've discussed how important our inclusion is at that phase of the project. They're probably trying to save some money by not including you. No, yeah, we'll save some money and we'll cut the architect out. The contractor says they can handle all that. All right. I'm just going to take it for granted that client control or lack of control is a major issue, or can be a major issue. The clients possibly are the biggest risk in the whole project. Everything else probably is reasonably systematic, and there's always things to deal with, but the client is the thing. All right, so let's have a look. Client control. Here are some areas to consider. I'm not going to go through all of these, but here are some areas to consider. Right, and I'm going to give you an overview on everything at the moment, and then I'll go through some of them and show you some examples. Right, now, a lot of the stuff in the before, we've got before, during, and after, right? We need control in the before, during, and after. I do believe that most of the control needs to happen like before. Obviously, that is the most, that sets the scene. What you're effectively doing is you're training them to be good clients even before you take them on. In fact, you're training to be good clients And only if they can be trained to be good clients do you actually take them on. So you need to seed elements of client control into your blogs, into your proposals, newsletters, your qualification process, any information you send to them prior to actually even meeting them for the first time. Incoming call script. We need to train them around realistic fee expectations, process expectations. We can use the shock and awe box. We need to train them around how they are to behave with us, with each other, the chain of command, roles and responsibilities, rules of the road. We need to do this verbally. We can do it on our website. There's, some of these are things that the tools, some of them are places where we would put content to start effectively the indoctrination process, right? Obviously, we need scope control, relationship control, communication control, pre-meeting, pre-construction meeting, behavior control, payment control, dispute control. Feel free to take a message of all these things and then think about it. And then after, we want referrals. Maybe we want a completion party. You want to build all this stuff into your agreement. The easiest time to get permission for everything is before you start. People will say yes to almost everything up front. I want testimonials. I want copyright. I want to be able to make a book. I want to be able to take photos and own the photos. I want all sorts of control that I want. If it's all done up front, if it's on your website even, here's how we operate. If it's in your rules of the road, and I'll show you some great rules of the road, then you get away with everything. And where I learned this was, I own some investment property, and I know, we built a house at the bottom of one of the investment properties. Now, when people are looking at the place, I'll say, hey, bear in mind, we are building a house below this house. It could get a bit noisy during the year. There could be tradesmen coming up and down the path. If that's not fine, let me know. And the ones, the people who take it go, no, that's fine, that's fine. Now, you can imagine what would happen if halfway through the year, now we put them on a 12-month tenancy, so they've got the place for 12 months. You can imagine what would happen if I hadn't said all that stuff. I hadn't got permission for all that up front when it was easy, when they needed it and I didn't need them. If I tried it 6 months into their tenancy term and said, hey, we're building a house, there's going to be some distraction, there's going to be some noise, dust, mud, people walking past your bedroom window, builders, people taking power, we'd have no chance, right? The earlier you get anything in the door, the easier. It's easier early, very hard later on, right? And you can control, all of this is controllable. I'll tell you what, and the funny thing is too, the more conditions you stick in early and the more stuff you cover early, ironically, the more professional it makes you look, right? Because it shows you've got standards. It shows they have to agree to things. It's just how it works. So bring it up early, bring it up often, bring it up in writing.